Alrighty. We are back at it once again for another Lullaby Stories, exclusively on Electrostep Network. Today's guest, we got our boy in the house, Jalen, aka RageBot in the house. Jalen,
What's
how the
up,
fuck are we
everybody?
today?
We're good. We're good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I just got done eating some empanadas, so that's pretty freaking awesome. Shout out Iplier.
Sounds delicious.
Oh yeah. So we got you here today, man, to talk a little bit about yourself. I heard you got some big things coming our way, right? So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Who is the Rage Bot?
So yeah, I started RageBot, oh God, almost a little over a decade ago. I was 14 years old in my room, just messing around with music, discovered a bunch of amazing artists, Skrillex, a bunch of other people. I was really young. Uh, but yeah, fast forward to now, I'm working with artists I used to listen to in high school, uh, releasing music on, crazy record labels like Subsidia, all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's just been a very successful but crazy roller coaster the last 12 years of producing music. Um, but yeah, I've definitely developed my sound. It's very angry, robotic, uh, in your face, headbanging, bass music, dubstep. So, yeah, I'm just excited to, keep my project going. And, yeah, hopefully you guys like what I have coming up because I have a lot of stuff coming up.
Hell yeah, man. So you said Subsidia, right?
Correct. Yes.
How is it like having to like juggle all those things at such an early age? You said you started at 15, right? 15 or 14?
So I started at 14 and
14.
this was back in 2010. Um, and I wasn't really fully into production. I just downloaded oh God, what was it? It was a like a free DAW. I think it was called Mixcraft, if I'm not mistaken. It's so old. But I just downloaded the free trial and just started messing around with stuff on there. And yeah, now I'm in Ableton and learning all this crazy stuff from crazy talented producers. Shout out to Matthew, aka High Zombie. He taught me a ton of stuff. Um, but yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. Juggling life plus being an artist and record labels and keeping track of all of it is pretty hectic. But you get used to it after a while. After 12 years of doing it, you get pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm loving where me and my brand are at, and I can't wait to keep pushing that to as many people as possible. That's the goal. That's the number one goal.
Right. How do you in that brand creation and everything like that, what do you think were the most pivotal moments of that? What do you think were like the biggest, okay, I did this shit so well, this has been my brand kind of thing. Like when are those been those moments?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first time I felt that way um was when I played my first like big like festival setup, and just to have that opportunity was crazy to me. You know that was game changing for me and my music and my brand too. um Another one was designing the mask. I think was probably the second biggest pivotal moment, and I'm actually just going to pull it out real quick
Do
too.
it.
I have it right here. So but yeah, um that getting opportunities. And I think the third biggest pivotal thing is just getting out to shows, festivals, and meeting as many people as possible, connecting with those people, and building like genuine like relationships that, and honestly friendships too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Here's the mask for anyone who has not seen the mask before. This is it in all of its glory. But yeah,
No
no,
shit.
that was a really good question. Yeah, it's a lot of things. And what's crazy is it started off as, just a hobby, something for fun,
Right.
pastime, and I loved the culture and the music behind it as well. But really breaking into it was, so pivotal. And like I said, the number one thing is just making connections with people, talking to them. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without all the people that helped me along the way. Big, good
Right.
support group, good support systems.
Good support, good support. Special teams, special plays, right? Right.
Yes, of course.
No, awesome. No, and like, and that was another question I was going to ask you too, right? I feel like a lot of producers, obviously, we all started this as a hobby, right? So whenever you start making it less of a hobby and more of like your identity, your brand, like like much more focused, laser focused to it,
Yeah.
what are the novelties that you lose and miss, and then what are the new ones that you kind of pick up? You know what I mean? Like,
Huh. I think a lot of the stuff that you pick up is just due to time and practice and putting, like you said, just being laser focused on, making, if that's what you want to do, is take your music and make it something more of a business. And maybe not even necessarily a business, but something that other people can, collectively be a part of. And like, that's what a brand is.
right.
Um, it's not just you, it's, all your listeners, all the people that buy your tickets to your shows, merch. So I feel like a lot of people get lost in the whole uh making it part
Yeah.
when you should be focusing on the art, and the rest of it will fall into place. And when I first started, it's really really hard, and this is for every young producer out there. This is really good advice. um just don't strive for certain things and goals unless that's what you're really really trying to do and putting all of your effort towards. um I really wish the music industry was different than it was. I'm sure you know how it is,
Yeah.
being a producer yourself. It's very you know weird, and you learn a lot, and it's
Yes.
almost it's almost overwhelming, all the stuff that comes along with being a producer and building a brand. So I feel like that's the novelties people you know focus on, but you shouldn't. So I feel like those are the novelties I lost, and I'm kind of glad I did. um I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's the best way I could put that.
No, for sure, man. And like music is evolving every day. So what is
Yeah,
effective today may not be effective
effective
5 years down the
tomorrow,
line.
or even
Yeah.
tomorrow, you know
Or
what I
even
mean? That's how
tomorrow,
crazy it
literally.
is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nuts. Like,
You
good
could be
example is like
go ahead.
TikTok,
Mhm.
flipped music. It's
Yeah.
crazy how much that one app changed how things are. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Literally, literally. And what's even crazier is that you can make the same quality music across the board, like day in, day out, but the fact that you have to play with this whole other side now just to now, okay, now I want to get people to listen to this. How am I going to
Yes.
do that? So in that you've had like you've been doing this way longer than me, right? So in that time of adapting, right, and evolving into the mighty rage bot that you are now, right? What have you seen that's been like the biggest, like, okay, I need to change this so I can get into line here, or okay, this is happening. What can I do to go above this kind of thing? What have been your plays, like your evolutionary plays, I guess, as this industry has like become what it is today?
Yeah. Yeah, navigating the scene, and all the stuff that happens behind the scene, with what I said earlier about like meeting people, talking to people.
Right.
The more you learn, the deeper the rabbit hole goes.
Goes,
um
right.
I would say, that's such a good question.
Like
I would
Instagram, like did you change anything there? Facebook, you know
um
what I mean?
I
Like any of
actually
those social
changed
medias.
I actually changed a lot. Like I said, as soon as I became laser focused, I think
Mhm.
that's when a lot of the changes started happening. Like, I didn't have the mask for a long time. A lot of my like brand post. I say brand because it was mostly shit posts and memes,
Right,
because
right.
that's how you would catch people, that's how you get people to click.
Yep, yep.
It was very almost like clickbaity cringe stuff, right? um and then I really sat down, and I'm gonna be honest, I grabbed a notebook, a pen, and I started writing out a plan, like a straight up like a business plan. Like, I'm gonna make a mask. This is what I want to do because I had a vision. It's
Right.
really just the action you put in to make that vision a reality. I think that's the most important thing. So I changed a lot. I mean, not even just that, my music production changed a lot. Like I took it a lot more seriously. I put a lot of money towards, master classes, tutorials, uh project file, all sorts of stuff, like pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
And it helped a thousandfold. So,
Right.
and on the other side of it, DJing, practicing DJing and stuff, because that's a whole nother, ball game
Yep.
in
Yep.
itself. So it's just so many things, but I really just sat down, dissected it all, almost down to like almost overthinking everything, which you should do if you're
Hmm.
trying to really be successful and make it. Um,
Right.
I think that was the most eye-opening thing, and that happened really early on in my career, and I had a lot of personal stuff in my life happening
Hmm.
too. And I think that kind of attributed to, pushing me to actually like do this. And
Right.
it's crazy how like successful it's been. It's almost like a snowball effect, it just keeps going. It's all
Right.
organic at this point. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's freaking amazing, dude. And that's like the best foundation that you can set for yourself, right? You set something really solid that like, once it's set up, all you got to do is maintenance it a little bit every once in a while, right? But this goes on to my
Exactly.
next
Yeah.
question here. You said, like I completely agree with you whenever it comes to like the producer and DJ being like two separate sides of the table kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like to tell people is like whenever they ask me, oh, like, do you like, are you producer or DJ? I consider myself a producer first, DJ second. Where would you find yourself on that scale?
So, um, starting off so young
Hmm.
and like EDM at that time, uh, it was big, but nowhere near the scope and level it is now. And uh, I think it really at the time I started doing this and really getting into it, I wanted to know how it worked.
Yeah.
So I was, like I said, I wasn't like super into producing, but I was definitely, watching videos, messing with, massive, downloading all this, crazy stuff on my computer and messing with sounds. And, I bought MIDI controllers, all this crazy stuff. But as I was doing that, I bought myself a little mixer when I was like, I don't know, almost 15. I think I bought my first mixer and I just started mixing. So I kind of came at it from both sides, but I would say I really mastered DJing first,
Interesting.
which
Okay.
which which was kind of cool, but at the same time, I kind of wish I learned the music side a little earlier on. Because I could have, I mean, I think about my success now, and I think about if I really put in the effort I was, like, I don't know, 7 years ago versus when I was 14, where I'd be now.
Right.
So I think about that stuff a lot too. And yeah, I feel like it's important to realize they're both different in
Right.
very different ways. And kind of, I don't know. It's weird because I know a lot of people that are producers but don't know how to DJ. But
Yeah.
I think I know way more DJs than I do producers in the scene right now, which
Yep.
is
Yep.
which is interesting to me.
It is.
Um, it's an interesting take being someone who also learned to DJ first.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. It's a two-sided sword.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting thing.
It is for sure. And like what I realized too, like whether it's just listening to other people or doing these shows myself, right? Like it's an interesting thing too, because like I always thought in my head that like, all right, well, if I'm a producer first, then I'll get a little bit more of a competitive edge and stuff like that, right? I've
Yeah.
actually realized a little bit of the opposite, and the reason being, and this is just a theory, right? I think it's because when you're out there playing, say for instance, every weekend, right? Sure, whatever, every weekend, right? You've accumulated already a contact list of people that will see you play. Now it's just a matter of hearing you play your own music kind of thing, right? So it's pretty interesting that you came from that background and also kind of saying the same things in terms of like, yeah, I DJ'd first. I kind of wish I got into producing a little bit sooner, but like it seems like everybody can get to the same destination, which no matter what route they choose, kind of thing.
I agree with you. It doesn't matter which one you focus on. If you're trying to make music, DJing is a great way, like you said, to build like an audience, first of all. But also give you the skills later on, because EDM, so at this point it's so, commercialized,
Yep.
that like you kind of have to know how to DJ at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's not a uh bad skill to have early on either. But I do agree with you. I think they're both important, and not one is more important than the other if the goal is trying to get to the same place. So I agree.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny because like once I actually took the step to actually get to DJing, and I'm like, okay, let me do this, right? Like, first up, I don't even own decks, right? I've planned my sets out accordingly on Record Box. Like, I made sure that my hot cues were set and that I could transition like a motherfucker,
That's
right?
smart.
It really is. It really is. And like no matter which way you go, just realize for whoever's listening, DJing is always going to be the easiest thing that you can do out of the two. That's for
Yeah.
sure. 100% hands
Yes.
down. Coming
Yes.
from both sides, that's the easiest thing that you can take care of, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Producing is, it's such a trial and error, and like fail win, like it's such a black and white just thing until you get to the point where you figure it out, and it
yep,
it, it becomes such like, I've gotten to the point where I can open the DAW and be like 128 beats per minute, let's do a housey, bass house type shit, and I just start building, when in the beginning it was not like that. It's such a step by step thing. um
absolutely.
DJing, it's really knowing your music. um I mean, if you really wanted to get crazy, it's knowing keys,
Yep, yep,
all sorts of stuff. But it's math essentially. At the end of the day, it's counting, it's knowing your beats. It's a lot simpler in terms of learning and mastering, or like perfecting, I should say. But yeah, producing is wild, man. It is wild.
there's so many answers just to get to the like there's so many ways to get to the same place, and that's like the
That
biggest thing, you know what I
it's
mean? Like,
wild. Like there's like three ways to make, you know, and everyone has their own, way. It's
mhm.
always so funny to see everyone's like different, opinions and how they do things. It's just really funny because really, even the professional producers, we don't really know like what I mean, some of them do. Some of them plan
Right,
it out and they're like, I want to tell a story, write an
right.
album, and it's going to be a theme. But most people, they just open up a DAW, and they're just like, let's, mess with some stuff,
Let's do it. Yeah,
and
yeah,
they just wing it, and come up with some insane stuff. And I think over the years, the best tunes I've ever made, I've never really like planned. Like I never really
yeah.
sat down and was like, this is what I want this to sound like. It
Right.
was more very free, and
Yes.
let's just throw stuff together, experiment, and see what we can like work with.
Yep.
And that's like the coolest, the best sounding songs are made that way, in my
I
opinion.
agree. I agree. No, no, no. I agree because like for sure, like you've been doing this longer than I have, right? So you might have absolutely probably have a better understanding on Ableton than I do. But like I agree, whenever best tracks of mine, I always treated them like a stepchild, like a redheaded
Yeah.
stepchild, right? You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, yes, I have to invest time into you, but I'm not going to do it with the intention to make you XYZ person. Like, I'm just trying to get you to
Exactly.
18 and you can leave the house. You know what I mean?
That's a great
Like,
that is a great analogy. That's a great way to explain that. But yeah, it's really just I just like having fun, and making music makes me happy. And
yeah,
if it sounds good, that's a awesome. If other people like that it sounds good, that's also awesome. But the like my goal is to try to get my music out to as many people as possible. Regardless of if like, I get fans or, which I mean that's always a plus. That's also a great plus too.
right, right.
Um, but that's never really the main goal. I just want to make music for me and people that enjoy electronic music and bass music, and keep the art going and
Keep the
evolving,
arting.
and
Yeah.
exactly keep the art arting and evolve it and be a part of the changes and the I don't know. It's a good example is my good friend Alien Park. Shout out to Alien Park Martin. uh he is, I don't know if you are familiar with him, but he's blowing up right now. And he started off as just me and you having fun, and now he's on every single Excision show. He's playing Paradise Blue, Lost Lands, bass. It's crazy to see all this success. And it comes back to what we're talking about here.
Yes.
um and it's just really cool from the outside, as a fan, not just a
Yeah.
producer, but as a fan too, just to see how big this is all becoming. It's pretty wild to think about. It's pretty
So,
wild.
so you've released some music in the past with some pretty big companies, labels, all that, right? And
Yeah.
with this new one coming out, it's no different. You got a big release planned for it and everything, right? So what are people looking for to get to that place that you're at? What are these labels looking for? What are these big people looking for from us?
So that's a great question, especially from the bigger label side. Not
Mhm.
really necessarily like the you know homies labels, like
Right, right.
there's a bunch of little labels out there that are awesome. I've released with them too, and they're just as good. The bigger labels, they're definitely more, how do I explain this? They're looking for, your like you said, a specific thing,
Yeah.
depending on like what label you're going with. So like, for example, I've released with Subsidia, and what they were looking for was, what I thought they were looking for, I should say, wasn't what they were looking for. Because I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail on it, but
Right.
they reached out to me about music. I didn't send them anything. They emailed me, and I sent them, I don't know, let's see, I think 3 or 4 demos before they even accepted, and they rejected those 4, but even thought of accepting one of my tracks. And I guess what I would say is, keep up on listening to other artists' music. I mean, obviously your friends' music, but like bigger artists like Phase One, Vampa, Atlians, Zomboy, big names. Like, find the biggest names you can and just listen to their most recent tracks, and just listen to the trends, listen to the noises, listen to, all the details, and then go to your DAW and try, not recreate it, but take inspiration from what is popping right now, what is popular, what are people interested in. And I think I would just say stay active in the scene.
Right.
Listen to everyone that you can and see what is working and what's not.
Right.
But once you're in it for, a long time, it's almost pretty easy to gauge like what the vibe, I guess, is. because it is, like I said, always evolving and changing. It's never, that's the beauty of EDM.
Right.
Something could, become really popular. Like one thing that I've noticed is becoming really popular is like drum and bass and like hard style, like raw, like little tech, little Texas,
Yeah.
like shit
Yeah.
like
Oh
that,
yeah.
which is awesome to see because, like, I mean, I'm a dubstep and bass music producer, but I can
Yeah.
appreciate, all forms of EDM. And it's really cool to see all this, you know, underground stuff really become popular, especially
Right.
drum and bass. Drum and bass is becoming big right now.
Bro,
And
chasing status.
yeah,
One of my boys, shout out Chris, aka Figment. He was like, bro, like chasing status has been around for 20 years. They should have blown up by now, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no way, really? Like I only found it because of this one song. No, they came to my hometown and absolutely blew it up, man.
dude.
Like that show was sold out. Tickets were already $40 per pop, like just ready.
Yeah, after that boiler room set, they really just,
Took off.
and you're right. Your friend Chris, shout out to Figment. He's a homie of mine too. He they should have blown up a long time ago.
Yeah.
Shout out to like Nero, Subfocus, a bunch of other people that have been doing
Yeah.
it forever. And I've been a fan of drum and bass. A lot of people don't know this. Be quiet, this is a secret. Just kidding. But Dirty Phonics, they used to make drum and bass, and it was like a group of 5 guys.
Holy
Um,
shit.
yeah, not a lot of people know that. And it was amazing. They were so, dude, underrated. And now they make dubstep and stuff, which is really cool now. But I think it's only 2 of them now. But
Whittled down, huh?
yeah, no, it was crazy. I love drum and bass. Shout out drum and bass.
Hell yeah. Shout out drum and bass. But going back to like, like what you were saying about like maybe don't try to recreate it. If anything, I say fuck that. Try to recreate it,
May
especially if you're
and
a new guy.
and
Just
yeah, maybe
because
do
like
try to recreate it. Yeah,
yeah, maybe do try to recreate it, not just so you can make something that's like them, but for your own benefit. Like I tell a lot of my
exactly.
friends, like you'd be surprised how many. I mean, actually, you wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you might be. Like how many people I run into, they'll show me, "Hey man, can you listen to this track?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, man, let me listen to it." Hey, what's your reference track? Like, who are you like trying to get into the gauge of kind
Yes.
of thing? Like, because
Yeah,
this
yeah.
makes sense like shit. Like, so like trying to even recreate whether or not it's the
Yeah.
composure, the composition, or just the mix, the quality, the sound.
I
Like,
would say another important thing is the pattern, like how
yes,
how the song is structured. Because if you listen to a lot of shit that's popping, a lot of the structure is almost exactly the same. And I'm not saying the songs are the same. It's
right.
the
Patterns.
intro,
Yeah,
build, pre-drop, fake out, drop. You got to really pay attention to things like that.
exactly.
It's not just listening to it and trying to, oh, I'm going to try this. You really got to pay attention and dissect, what's popping.
So with that being said, whenever you hop on the DAW and you have jack shit in your brain, you don't know where to start. You're just showing up to show up because you got to show up, right? What do you do first? What's your approach?
Hmm.
You sit down,
I
you get home, you go on a computer. What do you do first?
The first thing, so it really depends. Lately I've been coming home, not working on like a song, and I've just been spending, I don't know, I would say about an hour to 3 hours because I just had a son, so it's kind of hard to, make time for it. But I try to
You
do an
rage dot,
hour.
rage bot, and rage dad.
Yeah, mini rage bot. But yeah, I really try to spend an hour or two, if I can, at the most 3. If you have time, spend as much time as you can doing it. Um, but I come home and just sound design, dude. I open up Serum. I open up what's another good VST? Vital's a
Vital,
great one. Yep.
massive. Yep.
Massive's a great one. FM8's super underrated. A bunch. There's a shitload. Um, just download a few free trials if you have to, and just sit there and just sound design. Make the craziest sounding stuff you can. Because you can repurpose all of that for effects, resampling, basses, all of that stuff. I mean, the options are endless, especially in today's music scene. They have stuff that I did not have back.
Yep.
Like, it is insane. You guys have like AI that can make it's nuts. I'm not saying use AI. I'm just saying the tools are there. Use the tools to your advantage.
Bro, it was just Ableton 11 that they literally just let us set our piano scale to like
That's
scale to key.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I said, it's always an evolving thing. The DAW too. But I just open up the DAW, make a bunch of crazy stuff. I save it to a folder, and then when I get done doing that, then I'll lay down a drum line, and then I'll put a little bass line onto it. Then I'll move that over and build a melody around that sounds good with the percussion and the drums. Add a little bit of effects here and there. It's really however you want to do it. Sometimes I open up the DAW and I just make a drop like a nasty ass, and I'm like, what am I doing right now? And then I'll like add stuff around that, and I'm like doing shit like almost backwards. So it really depends on how I feel. But I really tend to open up all my VSTs and just make the weirdest stuff ever, and then repurpose it later on, and stretch shit out, cut it up, resample it. It's nuts. So that's what I usually my first step is.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, we got less than 7 minutes remaining on here. So you sent me a tune here that I'm gonna play out here. We can only play 30 seconds of it though. So
That's okay.
yeah, 30 seconds. You tell me where we can play this bad boy at. We'll listen to this a little bit here just to get a taste. And this is from the new EP, right?
So Snake Oil is I just dropped my first track of the EP. The rest of the EP comes out May 28th on my birthday. So 2 days. 2 days.
Sweet. 2 days. 2 days. All right, bet. So after we're done listening to this a little bit here, you sent me Heat Seeker.
Yes. And
We
that's an
will.
unreleased one. That one's
Ooh,
unreleased.
unreleased. Okay, sweet. Bet. We'll play this and then we'll make sure to get like last words and anything else like that kind of thing.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Let's see here. So where should I start?
Let's go about hold on, let me pull this up too so I can see it a little bit better.
No worries.
This is like perfect timing. My battery's dying. Oh,
Oh,
fuck it.
nice.
Play it right there. Fuck it.
Play it
30
right here,
seconds.
bet.
Let it play.
Kill him through the speaker. Kill him through the speaker.
Murder with the baseline, pure heat seeker. Mercy on my soul, I'ma kill him through the speaker. Murder with
Damn. Damn.
That's sustained. Yeah, lots of wubbiness. Lots of wubbiness.
I love the wubs. Love the wubs, man. For sure, for sure. Well, hell yeah, man, dude. This has been a dope little interview for sure. That's a dope little track. When can we expect that one to be released? Is that one going to be on the that one's not or is going to be on
So
the EP?
so that one is unreleased. It's not on the EP.
Not on the
Snake
EP.
Oil, my new track Snake Oil is out
Uh-huh.
right now. The Snake Oil EP, the
Links
rest
down
of
below.
it, which is seven more tracks, comes out on the 28th. So
The 28th. Hell
Yep.
yeah. Hell
I'm
yeah.
excited. I hope you guys like it. Thank you so much for having me. Your questions were awesome. Got me thinking about a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'm happy we did this. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. Was there any last things that you want to say to the crowd, my friend?
You can pre-save my new EP right now if you go to my SoundCloud link and listen to the new track. There's a pre-save link attached to it. So yeah, it's 2 days away. So I hope you guys are ready.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, with that being said, this has been another Lullaby Stories with your host, Lullaby, exclusively on Electrostep Network with our guest of the day, RageBot. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of the day, night, wherever the fuck you are, and take care.